This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, I am so excited for today's show because this is so amazing. As you all know, I had Gina Schock from the Go-Go's on last August, and now this August I have her returning. Oh my God, she's got a lot going on. She's got the House of Schock reunion tour being launched. She's got the launch of GinaSchockArt.com. I've never asked her about her artwork before, and I'd like to ask her this time. And just want to talk about all that stuff today. You know, maybe comment on Paul Rubin's recent death because he was a friend of the Go-Go's, and of course Terry Hall from the Specials' recent death, and you know, her now, Comic-Con appearances that she's making. You know, I'm happy to say I helped out with some of those appearances, and I am so excited. As everyone knows, Gina has been my favorite interview I have ever done, and it's going to be great to have her back on the show today. I thank you so much, Wendell, for hooking us up again, and we're going to just let it fly. Let it rock and roll. And if you haven't gotten her book, Made in Hollywood, get it. It is just a wonderful book of pictures and stories from the Go-Go's history. It is just fantastic. It is just everything that you could possibly want in a Go-Go's book. So yeah, here is my new interview with Gina Schock.
Hello, Tommy.
Hey, Gina, welcome back. How's summer going?
Oh, my God. I've just been overwhelmed with work on my house here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
With my parents' home and two homes here that I've been redoing.
Wow. Well, all that aside, I mean, I've seen you post some awesome stuff on social media, and I want to start by asking you, I saw you do a podcast earlier in the year, and you said you had been thinking about doing a solo tour, but then I see you post that House of Schock is coming back. What sparked that?
Yes. So, thing is, Tommy, is I have so much material.
Yeah.
And I started working with these guys that I got introduced to here in Baltimore that are really badass musicians.
Yeah.
And they love my material. So, I said, come on, we'll get House of Schock back together.
Yeah.
And start doing some gigs. We'll pick out some good songs from the House of Schock repertoire.
Right.
And a bunch from, I just have tons of songs that we're gonna pull out and, reorganize everything.
Yeah.
To fit where I am now, I think it's gonna be great. I'm very excited about it because it's so much fun diving into my music that I've just been busy doing so many other things, with the book tour and
yeah.
And I have many other things that I'm doing. But it'll really be nice to get back into the music and in the live aspect of it. Because boy, I miss that. I mean, doing the couple of shows that I did with the boys was great. The shows were wonderful.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, is the second record finally going to be made?
Well, what I want to do is put together songs. I'm going to put out an EP at the beginning of next year.
Oh.
And just start that way and, try to start booking shows. Might do a couple before the end of the year, but mainly really try to do a decent amount of shows instead of just spotty here, 1 month here, the other month over there,
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I'm working towards. I need to get these houses done. It's been really difficult, but it sidetracked me for several months. But nevertheless, I've kept things, Wendell and I have kept things rolling with the band. And, we're setting up rehearsals. We had a band meeting yesterday, set up rehearsals for shows that we're going to be doing. And so I'm excited about that stuff. I really look forward to it. It's been, it just seems like, well, it has been a long time since I dove into my material, all the songs I had, and sitting down and start to write new stuff.
Yeah, I went back and listened to that 1988 album again, and I don't think many people realize just how beautiful your singing voice is, and I think people are going to find that out the more and more you do it.
Oh, God, Tommy, thank you. What's really funny is a lot of folks don't even know that I sing.
Yeah.
You know what? I get it. I never sang live. I mean, I sang backing vocals with the Go-Go's, but
yeah.
I just found my voice. It was out of necessity because when I, put House of Schock together, I couldn't find a singer. The band was like, Gina, nobody's singing. I mean, I actually flew people in from different states to audition them, and the band came to me and said, nobody's singing them better than you. You need to be the front person. Because I was just fine writing the songs and or co-writing the songs and playing drums. But I wound up getting pushed out front, and I love it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was just so excited to find that out. I think that's just a great idea, and of course, with the resurgence of the 80s that we've been seeing in the last decade or so, because people want to be reminded of a better time, I think it's going to be a really good success for you.
Sure. So what's cool is it's going to be a nice mixture of everything, Tommy. I'm going to mix some go-go stuff, because let's face it, I have to, I got to give back. That's what put me on the map in any way, shape, or form. And so, yes, I'm going to do go-go songs. I'll do some House of Schock. I'll maybe do a couple songs that I wrote for other people, and then I'll do my material.
Do you
I have a lot to draw from. I have a lot to draw from, which is another thing I didn't even realize, but I do.
Yeah. Do you do drum instrumentals at all?
No, nah. What do you mean, drum solos?
Yeah, like, long drum solos.
Shit, no, I've never done that. That's never been my thing. I don't, I've said this many times, I'll say it again, I'm the type of drummer, the way I approach drumming is I do what is ever necessary for the song. Mm-hmm. I'm not about like I'm coming up with incredible fills or this. I mean, yeah, I'll do what is necessary for that particular part of the song, but I'm more about just groove and feel. That's what I'm about: groove, feel, and timing.
Yeah, years ago, I almost went to go see Carl Palmer, but I looked at his set list. It was all drum solos. There was nothing from Emerson, Lake and Palmer or Asia, and I'm like, who the fuck is going to go see this show? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's great. See, I don't get me wrong. I have great admiration for the guys or the girls that love to sit into solos, but I've never been that kind of drummer. I never wanted to be that kind of drummer. I was never the person that would sit in the room and practice rudiments and shit. I just was put on the goddamn song and let me groove with it. That's what I want to learn. I want to learn feel. I want to pull the soul out of my body and inject it into the music. That's my approach. That's the way I learn. Nobody ever taught me anything, so that's the way I hit it,
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at Sheila E. I mean, she does exactly that when she's on stage.
Oh, yeah. Her groove is crazy.
Yeah.
She's full of soul. She gets it, and she's an incredible drummer.
She is. She comes from a great family of drummers.
Yeah, genetically, she's got us all beat, right?
Yeah. Congrats on that Memory magazine cover you posted the other day. How did that come about?
I was doing an interview and somehow it veered off into talking about my parents and what my journey has been with them, and then he just called me back. The psychiatrist and said, I'd like to use this for this magazine and put you on the cover. And I was like, of course I will. My parents both, suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's, and I will do anything to create more awareness. Because, the truth is we all live longer, and it seems like everybody gets either dementia or a form of a form of dementia or Alzheimer's or something in there, you know. And so when they asked me to do that article, I was more than happy, and I will help create awareness with them whenever they ask me. And I thought the article turned out great.
Yeah, my mom, she got tested for dementia last week, and thank God she doesn't have it. We thought she did for a while. She has brain trauma from an accident she had a few years ago, but thank God she doesn't have dementia, because that's the worst. It really is.
Oh, my God, yeah. I don't know. I'll probably wind up with it, but I can't focus on it. I just have to focus on moving forward and moving forward with gratitude and respect for my past.
Yeah, and you got the launch of GinaSchockArt.com. I'm curious to know, how did your love of art come about?
Oh God, I've always been into art. I'm like a really visual person, you know.
Yeah.
I respond. It's like, you know, what's funny is like you could take me somewhere, you could drive me somewhere once, and I will remember to get back there just by landmarks in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I won't remember any of the names of the streets, but I'll remember a certain corner or a certain house or a certain lawn or something like that is what I remember, or certain houses. And so I think that my brain has always gone that way. I've always looked at the things and not, I don't know how to explain this, actually. It's going to sound like a goof. But I feel like that's always been in me. I've always had a great appreciation for photography and paintings and you name it. You know, I love that, and I wish I could draw. I can't draw at all, but with these things, these, what are they called? I guess you'd call these paintings. They're going to be on canvas that we've created here with that company's called Scene 4.
Yeah.
And you know, they're using LED technology, and they basically, like, they transform my drumming into something that can be put onto canvas. With, you know, we use the drumsticks have lights in them, and they get lighter or darker according to how hard you hit or how light you hit. And so it's kind of like like a musical fingerprint, you know. It's like painting only with drumsticks. It's wild, and it's called, the name of it is called Rhythm on Canvas, and it is. Let's see. He told me that it was available. It's at GinaSchockArt.com, and you can pre-sign up August 24th to be able to look at the availability and stuff and see if you like it. It is. Oh my God! It is so cool looking.
Yeah, I've been meaning to go on there and stuff, but I've been super busy. But I'm going to make time today to go check it out.
You're gonna love it. There's so many great drummers that are a part of this.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Chad Smith. I mean, you name it. Tons of great drummers that have done this, and it is so neat looking. It's like pop art. It's really wild.
Yeah, I used to go to art galleries in the Bay Area during my drinking days because I heard they had free alcohol.
That sounds good.
Well, I'm a naughty boy, I know, but you know, that's just my mindset at that time. I did see some pretty cool art though when I was going.
Oh, sure. You know, who didn't want to get have a couple of glasses of wine and sit in a gallery or walk around in a gallery, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So last week, we sadly lost Paul Rubens. I was fucking crying for a week and saying, rest in peace, Paul Rubens, every podcast I did, because that guy just delighted everyone with Pee-wee. And you girls were good friends with him. Like, did you meet him during his Roxy days?
Yeah, you know, he's in my book in Made in Hollywood. Paul, you know, wrote a lovely story that I put in my book, and I was in contact with Paul a lot over the last several years, texting and talking and whatnot, and he kept that very quiet, as you would imagine.
Yeah.
That guy was loaded with class. He was a super cool guy, so creative, so smart, and really kind. Paul was very kind, you know?
Yeah. I met him in 2019 at a horror con. Me and my mom spent 2 hours and 30 minutes in line, and it was well worth it. He was just a sweetheart of a guy, and he looked really good at that time. And then about a year or two later, I saw him do a Zoom show with Sid Croft, and he looked
Yeah,
really, really bad. I think that's when it was just starting.
yeah. Well, Sid's a friend of mine as well.
Yeah, I
I
talked to
just,
Sid back in February, and it was snowing in California at the time.
oh my gosh. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think everybody's just freaked out about all dying in the Hollywood community, and anybody that ever met him or knew him would say the same thing about him. What a generous, lovely guy, brilliant, smart guy. And he's Pee Wee. You don't get much better than Pee Wee, right?
No, he was an original. I mean, a true original, and there'll never be anyone like him.
No.
He just did something so amazing. And also, too, back in December, we sadly lost Terry Hall of the Specials, and he was a driving force of the Go-Go's early success. I'm sure when you found out about that, you were also devastated.
Yeah, we were knocked out again. You know, that was really unexpected. And they had played at the Fox Theater in Oakland not that long ago, and I went to see them.
Huh.
And when I went backstage, I just missed Terry. He was running out somewhere, and I just missed him. But I hung out with the other boys, and he said Terry sends his love, and I said, tell him I love him, and I hope all was well. But he was fantastic. They were great. The show was wonderful. And I just, wow, it's terrible. And then Sinead O'Connor, like, what? Oh my God. What next?
Yeah. When he took the Go-Go's to England, you played some pretty rough places, right?
Oh yeah, sure. We were playing. I mean, it was great for them because it was a ska audience, but they did not like us. And I even remember Terry would walk out on stage before shows sometimes and say, "Hey, be nice to these girls." They were championing. I can't say the word. Mm-hmm. They were champions of the band, and tried to get the audience to go easy on us because they were rough and they did not like. They weren't interested in us. They just wanted the specials. I mean, I can't hardly blame them, but
yeah. Oh, that same thing happened to the Bengals when they went to England with the English beat for the first time. I mean, this guy threw a milk carton in Susanna Hoff's face and cut her forehead. I mean, those punks, they don't fuck around in those pubs.
Oh no, they didn't give a shit. They were all messed up anyway too,
Yeah.
People loving to throw stuff. Huh? Yeah. Well, you're an easy target when you're up there. Let's face it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's like the Blues Brothers when they're getting all the stuff thrown at them in the country bar.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So I finally got Made in Hollywood, and just like I thought, I absolutely loved it, Gina. I think that it needs a sequel because it's that good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really pleased with it. I can't believe I actually put it together. I'm sort of like, I'm in disbelief that I could put that together, but I did, and I'm super proud of it. And I just covered a lot of bases. I'm glad that there's something out there about the band that is that comprehensive,
Yeah.
And also, and I mean, because initially it was just going to be a book of, coffee table book of photos, but then, the publishers said, "Hey, what do you think about doing some writing?" And I was mortified at first, but then I decided to do it, and it turned out great.
Yeah, I could relate to the chapter about your heart surgery. I always knew about it, but I didn't know it in that in depth before. And like when I had my car crash, my sternum was crushed, and that recovery was just torturous. It was like something I would never wish upon my own worst enemy. And it just.
How about when you try to breathe? I mean,
yeah,
breathing is so painful.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like, if your room is like next to the bathroom, you can barely get up and go. It took me like 30 minutes to go to the bathroom after I got out of the hospital. It was that bad.
I know. Did you have to carry, they gave me, like a thin, balsa wood, piece of balsam wood and wrap like a thin blanket around it, and I would hold that to my chest whenever I tried to move.
No, they should have. I mean, I did have physical therapy in the hospital, and it was just, get up slowly, walk slowly, and then if I have to sit back down because I'm lightheaded, then that's what
Yeah.
happened. But no, I didn't have to do that. Wow, I should have had to do that though.
Yeah, just remember I pushed that to my chest and that right into my sternum, and that would help with the pain of trying to get up. Because when you get up, you're using all your muscles and your chest and your back and all. Um, it requires more than you think to just sit up from your body.
Yeah. And I also saw the documentary. Oh my God, you had me laughing out loud a couple times in that documentary. When you're
Yeah, that's
saying,
good.
yeah, when you're saying Jane broke up with me, or you talk about Charlotte getting thrown out of Ozzy's dressing room.
I thought that would be pretty funny. I had to do that. That was hilarious, right? That made me laugh. When I saw it again, when I saw it, I laughed out loud. We all were laughing about it. We always had great banter between us, and we'd say all kind of crazy shit. And our form of comedy, what we think is funny, like not everybody gets.
Yeah.
And but I think everybody sort of was laughing along with us with this documentary, and that's, we wanted to show that part of us, where we're not really that serious about everything, and not just about doing drugs and who you're sleeping with and all that crap, like the VH1 stuff. There's so much more, and we wanted people to see that how funny we are and goofy, and it's the lighter side of how the band is and was.
Oh yeah, no, I love the Go-Go's humor. It takes a lot to offend me, and I love the humor.
Yeah, when we get together, we're like a bunch of high school kid girls.
Yeah.
We have our own language and our own things that, like I said, nobody else thinks is funny, but we do. That's why I'm glad that everybody sort of got our humor in this documentary. I feel like everybody really got it.
Yes. In the early '90s, you made a cameo in the Stephen Banks show as a maid, and you're like tapping the drumsticks on all the inanimate objects in the apartment, and I think it is so awesome. Like, how did that come about?
He called me out of nowhere. It's so weird, and I said, "Sure, I'll do it. Why not?" And I said, "Okay. What's my thoughts here? What am I thinking about? What direction? What am I doing? You tell me what you want and what's behind the scenes, so I can focus on that." And so I did it, and it was easy. And he's a nice guy. And I just spent the day banging on pots and pans and dishes and following his direction, following his lead.
Yeah.
And it was fun to do, actually.
Oh, it was great, and I think you were a natural. Just the way you reacted to everything.
Yeah, there was a period like there in the mid to late '80s where I was starting to like maybe think about acting, and I took some acting classes and stuff. And I did try out for that film Blue Sky.
Oh yeah. With Tommy Lee Jones and Jessica Lange.
Yeah. I did a couple things where I was thinking about acting, but you know what? I know it wasn't for me. If I had started younger, I probably could have been acting, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I thought you did pretty good there, and wow, God, Blue Sky, just to think that Gina Schock could have been in Blue Sky.
That's pretty wild, right?
That is pretty wild, yeah, of all movies. I'm curious,
Yeah,
Gina.
right?
I'm curious, Gina, what are your top 3 Desert Island albums?
Oh, jeez. Last Animal of Humankind.
Mm-hmm.
The name of it. Is that the name of it? Wait, I think it is. It's called Dreamland.
Oh, okay.
Dreamland. Yes. What is it, Humankind? What is it? That was. Oh, How to Be a Human Being was another one of their records. I was getting them all mixed up. But the latest record, I love all 3 that I have. I love those. But Dreamland is wonderful. That's definitely a Desert Island album for sure. Probably also so much to choose from.
Anything from The Who or Zeppelin?
Now, I would have I think I would want to try the Family Stone's greatest hits.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And probably oh God, it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the Doors' first album, Van Halen's first album, and the Go-Go's Beauty and the Beat, and I'll tell you why. Because each album represents L.A. music in three different eras, and just wonderfully.
Yeah, I get it. Makes sense. That makes total sense what you're saying. Let me see. So my third record would probably be, I would say, Revolver by the Beatles.
Oh, great album. That was during their LSD phase.
I liked Revolver and Rubber Soul. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, Rubber Soul, and also a lot of people, they talk about how the White Album is just them doing their own solo shit. Still, it's a great album.
I love it. I mean, I can't think of anything they did that was crappy. Everything was great.
Yeah.
There were no stinkers on there. I mean, every song on every record was fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, everything that they did, everything. You could tell that they were tired on the Beatles for Sale because that year was just so crazy and everything. But even that stuff is pretty good, even though the tone is really dark.
Yeah, of course. But anyway,
So I am so happy that I was able to help Wendell get you booked into those conventions and everything. So, how's the convention scene been overall for you since you started doing them?
Well, we haven't done a whole hell of a lot of them, but I think we're going to be doing more. And it's been good. It's been good to meet. It's nice. It's really kind of neat to meet your fans up close.
Yeah.
Personally, to be somebody who's standing 5 feet away from you, and you get to hear their story and how you have influenced their life in whatever way it may be. It's really heartwarming. It makes me feel like I actually did accomplish something. I made a difference in somebody's life through the music that I play, and that's what a gift that is to hear,
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say that, you're the reason I started playing drums, or the band is the reason that I wanted to be a musician, or all that's just so nice to hear. That's what a gift to get that from folks. So that's the nice part of doing these conventions. You get to hear these really personal stories, and that otherwise you wouldn't hear. And it's great because then we're going to do some book signings and maybe some more gallery shows with the House of Schock. Not House of Schock, with the Late in Hollywood photos. I want to do some more shows with that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do some more shows. I think I want to do something in New York, in Boston, maybe Atlanta, and also, so our single house, the House of Schock single, "Smile Pretty," has come out. We're getting a little bit of love from several radio stations. Richard Blade's going to put it on his show and
oh, cool.
Rotation. So that's kind of cool. And we just with House of Schock, I'm going to come back. I got to go do a couple of things, conventions actually, and come back here and do some more recording and do an EP. Do an EP to, like I say, to put out next year, beginning of next year. Four song EP, and then we have to do an electronic press kit too, an EPK, to send to promoters so they can see what the show is like, and hopefully they'll like it, and we'll start getting some bookings.
That is so awesome.
Right now, I'm just doing, like I'm saying, like little shows here and there that are just spots that are really neat to play. The places that mean something to me,
Yeah.
But we need to get out there. We need to get out there and start playing
Oh, absolutely.
On a more regular basis, you know.
Yeah. I really wanted to make the East Bay Comic Con back in February, but my ankle, it was fucked up that weekend, and we had a nasty rainstorm going on, and
Yeah.
I felt really bad I couldn't come out and meet you. I met Patty Pelton from League of Their Own. She said she met you and Wendell, and she said very nice things about both of you.
Oh, Patty, she's nice. What a sweetheart.
Yeah,
Patty's a sweetheart. I really like her.
she's very nice.
What a nice girl.
So let me mention a couple cons you got coming up. August 18th through the 20th, you'll be at the Pop and Horror Con in Baltimore, and
Yeah, I mean, Wendell knows my schedule better than I do. He knows, you know. I could ask him who I met, and he'd be able to tell me a lot quicker than I could.
and August 25th through the 26th, you'll be at Colorado Springs Comic Con.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That is so awesome that you got all this going on, Gina. I gotta tell you, when I'm up at 3 a.m. and I get a notification on Instagram that real Gina Schock liked one of my dirty memes I posted, it thrills me to no end. It makes my life.
Good. Well, whatever floats your boat. You know what? As long as you feel good, if I can make you laugh or something, that's good. We need more of that in this world, Dave.
We need a lot more laughter. A lot more laughter. Gina, thank you so much for coming back on. And
I don't know if we even have anything much to talk about, except, well, we do, about it's kind of cool. I'm really excited about this, that LED technology stuff on canvas. That's really fucking cool, I gotta tell you. Wait till you see it. It will knock you out.
yes, I'm going to go on the art website later. And
oh my God, it is so neat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the website later and take a look at it. And once you have a date coming up that I can make too, I'll let Wendell know, and we'll finally meet in person.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing here, and hopefully I'll be seeing you soon, sooner than later.
Absolutely. Well, you enjoy the rest of your summer. Don't work too hard, but have a lot of fun. Keep rocking and be safe out there.
Love you, man. Take care, babe.
Love you, Gina. Thank you. All right.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Gina Schock. Ain't she a sweetheart? Oh, I love talking to Gina. She is such a good person, and I'm so glad we could talk again today. Oh, she is just the real deal. I can't wait to finally meet her in person, but go out there and see her. Check out her website, www.ginaschock.com and ginaschockart.com. I'm definitely going to go check that out as soon as I'm done here. And go check out House of Schock when they have shows coming, and go see her at your local Comic-Con. You will not be disappointed. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.